Started. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of NotaryCoach.com and the Sign and Thrive Notary Training Course and Community. I'm here with my incredible co-host, Laura Buer from CoachMeLaura.com. Hi, Laura. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you made it.
I'm glad I made it.
What are you excited about today?
I'm excited because fabulous things are going to happen. I don't know yet what they are, but I just feel it. It's a coming. Yeah. Symposium is moving along, guys. November 7th. A lot of you did the right thing, the smart thing, and got your ticket early because, yeah, we only have a couple seats. That's it. And actually, the initial offering is gone. That's gone. I negotiated to have a few more seats, but not very many because, you know, there's just a top that we have to work with. So if anybody said, oh, man, you still have a seat, can I get in? Why don't you go check? Go to our website and check it out and see if you can still get in. So that's what's happening there. Had a great morning in Sacramento, a little smoky, but other than that, I did an exam prep for the NNA before I got back here, just in time to see everybody. So I'm glad to be with you.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Laura, and that website is www.notarysymposium.com, and I did type that into the chat window for you guys too. All right, our second co-host, Carol Ray from Notary to Pro. How's it going, Carol?
It's going really good, except the smoke up here.
Yeah,
that's bad, and it's really sad, but it's getting better and it's getting out. I'm excited because our automation now has been about 2 weeks, so that we have time to do a lot more things. Barbara's a lot more creative with the things that she can do. She's not busy sending out certificates and welcome letters and all that. And I've discovered a new passion, not doing a lot of it, but I'm getting started in doing cooking again, which I've always loved, but haven't had time for the last 11 years. And I dug up a couple of recipe books that are knockoffs from restaurants, and I'm about to make some Olive Garden dressing because Costco's completely out. We love it, and I found a whole bunch of recipes that I'm anxious to do. We also had our first roundtable meeting. We have a Zoom meeting now every other Thursday, the first and third Thursday of the month, with our just our newbies, just our new students. And we had 75 people, between 75 and 80 people come to our very first one, which was exciting until my internet quit. And Bill, I almost called you because that was my first time ever really hosting more than just a one-on-one. And I was having a hard time with that, but Barbara jumped in. She took over. For some reason, she had internet in her room. I didn't have it in the office. So I'm now in the dining room, and hopefully it'll last. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm very excited about it. So I hope everybody is well and doing well.
Awesome.
Nice to see you all.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Carol. I know you guys have been working hard on that. Guys, we'll start taking questions here in just a couple of minutes. So please raise your hand. I don't have any hands up, so we need some hands up for questions. Do some shares if you got some big wins. Laura, I wonder if you would mind, what are we giving away from you today?
You know, I thought an LBP video library would be great for somebody who might not have that yet. Lots of work going on, specialty work still going on, even if you're not in hospitals or jails at this time. My business is overflowing not just in the NSA side, but in the specialty work. People need us. So if you haven't gotten going in that area, here's your opportunity. So yay, somebody will win that.
Awesome. Carol, are we giving away anything today?
I think we'll give away a free course today.
Awesome. Awesome. Free Notary to Pro course. And I'll come up with something by the end as well, guys. If you'd like to register for that, it is, again, in the chat window for you there. And then I just want to say, really thinking about all of you guys, I know there's so many notaries right now that are so slammed and busy. This is, for my signing company, the busiest week in the history of our business. And I know so many of you are also very busy. And I also know that there's a lot of us that are affected by the fires, the hurricanes, and all kinds of other things going on in the world. So thoughts are with you for sure all the way around. Plus, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So I know there's a lot of people affected by that too. So I'm glad that you guys made some time for us today. Let's, Laura, do you have your hand
Yeah,
up?
I wanted to say, Bill, what's happening in your side of the world? What are you excited about? I didn't hear it.
Okay, well, there's all kinds of craziness and excitement going on here. Guys, we are unveiling our search engine optimization course for notaries with a free webinar, the 11 biggest mistakes that notaries make on their websites and how to avoid them. That's coming up this Saturday on the 29th. I'll put the link inside the chat window as well. Plus, we did a complete redesign on our website over the weekend, and I'm really kind of digging it, and I'd love your feedback if you guys don't mind checking it out. Of course, it's just www.notarycoach.com. All the pages have been redone, things have been added. That thing has not been updated, I think, in 3 years since I started Notary Coach. So check it out. All right, guys, let's get in and ask some questions. Well, we don't have any right now. For the first time in TNT history.
I know.
Someone wanted to know how to raise their hand in the chat box.
I see several hands up.
Oh, Bill,
I do too. There's like 5 hands up there.
I don't see any guys. Sorry.
Oh, I see him too.
what are you?
Is
Laura, you're
Bill?
going to take control. Laura, you're going to have to take control. I don't see him.
I am? Okay. Well, I see Michelle's phone. Michelle, she's the first one I see under Bill's name. Are you on? Can you unmute yourself?
Oh my gosh, I got it. Michelle's phone. Michelle's iPhone. Welcome. I got it, Laura. Sorry.
Thank you.
Michelle's iPhone, if you want to unmute and ask your question. Please remember the format for these guys is tell us what state you're from. Immediately ask your question. If we need some more background, we'll ask, but we just want to try to get to as many questions as possible. Michelle, we're going to come back to you, okay? Kendra Wynn, you are next. How's it going, Kendra?
Good. How are you?
I'm
I
excellent.
am from Dallas, Texas, and I've been doing signings for a couple months now, and I'm ready to launch into some direct, like slowly into some direct business, but I cannot get over the nerves of how to just approach it. I know there are so many ways: email, walking in, offering, goodies. Well, what would you guys recommend for someone that is not sales oriented or someone that has that confidence? I don't want to seem, I don't know, not unworthy, but like not someone that they'd want to pick because my demeanor is timid because I'm nervous, if that makes sense.
What an awesome question. So thank you so much for asking that. And I know all 3 of us coach to our own styles on that. So Carol, I'd love to hear you, if you can, do you have any suggestions for Kendra in overcoming that fear and insecurity on approaching your first escrow officer?
Sit down.
Get the better, you sure?
I don't get it all. Just come.
Guys, we've got to have you mute yourselves.
sit-
Okay.
Mine's sketchy right now, Bill.
Seated.
Sit in one spot.
That's it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sketchy right now. Internet's unstable.
Okay. No problem. So let me just get everybody muted out that keeps unmuting. Okay, so Kendra, I'll kind of start out for you. First, when you look at it, what's the scariest part of approaching an escrow officer to you?
Probably just it's unfamiliar and it's not something that I have ever done before. Like I've never tried to sell a product or sell myself before.
Do you think you do a pretty good job as a loan signing agent?
Yes.
Awesome. So there's a couple of different approaches. The first thing I'll say though, is if you believe that you are good at this and you're one of the best people for this job, then it's almost a disservice not to reach out, because there are a lot of loan signing agents that don't take this work seriously, that don't do a good job. There have been notaries that have come before you that have let down escrow officers. So when you know that you're good at this, you're doing your clients a favor by reaching out and connecting with them. So that helps shift your mindset from being a salesperson trying to sell a service that people don't really want to being of service, meaning your clients need you. They need you to do a good job and be good at this. And I'm in kind of a, when I first started, I'm in the same boat. I'm a severe introvert. I do not like selling. I do not like cold calling. So what I did is I created the system, and that's what I teach in Sign and Thrive too. But what I do is I go out and I find out who I want to work with. Who are the companies that I've heard about, who are crushing it, who's building new homes in the area, who's got their names plastered on buses, who has their names plastered on park benches, who, all of that stuff. Do I want to work with them? And then I make a list. And then I do a little bit of research on them to find out even more. Is this somebody that I would want to work with? What do we have in common? How can I bring my services to them? How can I connect with them on a different level that is not a cold call selling relationship? And that's how I have grown my entire business, by doing that, thinking of a creative and unique way. So I remove this idea of cold calling and I warm it up to just building a relationship. And a lot of my clients are friends. They've turned into friendships because of this. And when you start to look at your clients more along those lines, then it lowers the bar a little bit, so you get more courage, because it's a lot easier to form friendships than it is cold calling sometimes. Laura, what's your suggestions on that?
Yeah, well, I have two. I'm just kind of laughing inside because I'm thinking I just did my weekly video and it was on confidence last night.
Nice.
And so I'm trying to think, what did I tell people? And a couple of things. One is come from the place that you already have direct work. Not that you're trying to get into it. It's already there. You're already part of the team. You're one of the people that participate in this process because you are, right? Even though you might be with a signing company who's being a middleman, the middleman is to the direct people, right? So you're on their team already. You're just finding another way to build that relationship with them. So first of all, remind yourself that with an I am statement, I am a damn good signing agent. I am being of service by reaching out to them and letting them know, hey, I participate in this process that you're in. I'm part of the team and I want you to see me face to face. And I think that if you start from there, taking courage, the courage happens first. You got to step out. The confidence comes after you use the courage to step out and come from a place of I am good. They need my service. And as Bill said, it's a disservice to keep it from them.
One of my favorite affirmations for this that I used when I was in full hustle mode and I had to make this business work was that there is someone in this city that needs my services, and my job today is to find that person.
Exactly.
And that shifted my mindset. So even if it was one person, even if I would talk to 10, I find one that needs me today. Right. And when I look at it like that, then I know that they need me. I know that somebody needs my service out there. I just have to connect with them. Carol, I saw that you unmuted. Did you have something to add on to that?
Yeah, just a warning for those people that are new and haven't done a lot of signings, because I get this question all the time. They get their certificate. How do I get to escrow? How do I get to title? You're not going to do that when you're brand new. You've got to establish your reputation. You have to be sure that you are error-free and that you've already, got some customers that are following you so that you have something to back you up. It's my opinion that that's great to try to connect direct, but they hear this all the time, go direct, go direct. And that's good when you know what you're doing and you're good at what you're doing. Then you've got something to go to people and say, I've got what you need. And I agree with you and Laura, but just a warning to those that are on with us, because I have to tell my students this all the time, because they come away with total rejection when they've done 10 signings and they're going after that kind of business. So that's all I had to say.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Carol, because when I first started, I didn't know there were signing companies. I just did it. I went escrow direct right from the beginning, and I made apocalyptic mistakes. I have burned bridges. I have lost way more clients than I've ever kept. And part of the value that you guys have now in this era is that there are trainers and coaches like Carol, Laura, and I that where you can learn from our mistakes. You don't have to take those paths. I share that in my book. I share it in my course. I burned bridges because I didn't honor relationships. I jumped the gun. I put the cart way before the horse, jumping ahead, and I fumbled and I learned. And sure, it worked out okay. But if you follow these systems, the reason that we have these systems is because they work. If you start signing up with the signing companies, sharpen your teeth, hone your skills, build relationships, and become the expert, you will exponentially do better than any of us in this business.
And I have to say one more thing, because I'm kind of with the beginners, and I got a lot going on, 2 puppies out there that are barking like crazy, so forgive us. But and then I do send my students to you, Bill, because you take them to that next level. And then Laura, if they're interested in the general notary work and working with attorneys and everything, and we've said it so many times, but it's the 3 of us, this triangle. If they fit themselves within that triangle, there's only one point, and that's up. And that's going to take them to the success that they are looking for. So, but you got to take those steps.
I like that, Carol. Only one way but up. Awesome. Great question, Kendra. Did we help at all?
Yes, thank you. I am interested with Laura making a comment about our weekly call on confidence. Is there a way we can find that, or is that just for your students?
Yeah, I did a YouTube, and
Okay.
it was posted probably today on YouTube. Yeah, because today's Tuesday.
Well, that'll be my first step. Thank you.
Okay.
If you haven't subscribed to Laura's content in her blog yet, go to coachmelaura.com and do that, because she's got great
Please.
blog that comes out. All right. Michelle, I think I saw some guys, just so you know, I cannot see the private messages in the chats that you're sending to me. There's too many of them. So just raise your hand and hopefully we'll get to it, or make your chat public so other people can help answer it. But Michelle, we'll come back to you because I know you had a phone issue. Are you ready to ask your question?
Yes, I am.
Hi.
Hi, guys. I have 2 questions. I'm Michelle Gordon Heidekin from East Orange, New Jersey.
All right.
And my question is, I'm also a graduate from Carroll Ray 2020 graduate.
All right.
Anywho, my question is in reference to business credit, how to go about obtaining that, and should I? Also, it's a 2-part question. I also use Square as part of my payment. Should I use Square also to the companies that give me assignment, or just continue using my W-9?
Great questions. So Michelle.
And one more. And I'm just trying to get it all out, because I get excited and then I get digressed.
Go for it.
Also, for UPS and FedEx, do I have to call them up, or do I do go online? Because when I went in to drop off package and I asked the questions, it was kind of vague. First, they said they couldn't give me any envelopes. I have to go ahead and get it done either phone call or online, and then I got lost in transition on that one. That's
Okay.
it.
Carol, I see you about to jump in. You got some answers for her?
Yeah, I do. First of all, with FedEx and UPS is horrible. You cannot get supplies from them. Lori actually had to go buy an envelope from the UPS store, $4 for a stupid legal envelope. If you go online, you can get an account. They don't charge you anything. You get free delivery. It's the best way to do it. With FedEx, you can get as many as 50 And that's what I used to do. We used to order 50 at a time. They were gone in a short period of time. But you can get the legal envelopes, which are the
Okay.
cardboard envelopes, and the
All right.
polyethylene envelopes. You go online, you order it, they'll get them to you, those pouches that
Okay.
put the labels in. With UPS, it's terrible. Nobody will give you any supplies at those stores. You can get them in increments of 25.
Okay.
So you can do that.
Okay. And that's also online. Do it online.
It's all
That's what
online.
okay,
It's all
cool.
online.
Thank you. Okay. And then my question in reference to business credit and the Square one that I have for payments with my general notary, some of them that I started and I use the Square one as part of the payment. Should I give that out to the companies that give me assignments? You know, like I just did a partial, what is it, modify loan?
Partial
Yeah.
payments. So Michelle,
Yeah, if you're able.
most signing companies aren't going to take your Square.
Okay.
They're going to just cut you a check, or they're going to have their own payment systems. If they allow you to, then sure, why not? But most
Okay.
likely they're going to have their own systems, and you've got to slide into their system. They're not going to cater to yours.
Okay.
And then your original question on business credit. So as a mobile notary and loan signing agent, I don't have anything to offer on this one. I never got business credit until I started a signing company. And then having a line of credit is definitely handy because sometimes people take a long time to pay you and you've got responsibilities you've got to cover. But I don't have, aside from the standard either credit card companies or banks, I have a relationship with Wells Fargo, so that's where I've gone. But Laura, have you established business credit in your?
No, I just use credit cards. I have credit card credit for expenses, and I only use a Square for my specialty work. And then, like Bill said, NSA work is however they decide to pay you.
Okay.
I'm just glad they pay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm glad we're working. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
No problem. Great questions. All right. I just want to do a quick reminder here that we are giving away some prizes at the end. And if you'd like to be eligible for those, just register at notarycoach.com/prize. Dana Keller, thanks for being here. You want to unmute? Tell us what state you're from and ask your question.
So I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and as you know, I'm slowly making it through your 5 phases of the loan signing training. So I've got a couple of quick questions. These have to do, I believe, with phase 3. My first question has to do with the credible witness situation and on a loan signing and having them sign the affidavit. Should we include a copy of the affidavit with the loan docs that are being returned to the closing agent?
So this is for Arizona specific, guys, just so you know. So in Arizona, number one, you have to get a credible witness even approved by the lender. So even though we as notaries might be able to use a credible witness to validate ID, that may or may not be acceptable for the lender. So
right, let's assume that the lender has approved it.
Then your closing agent is probably going to provide you with the credible witness affidavit that you will use. So yes, absolutely, you would include a copy of that in.
Okay. All right. And then the second question I had was when you were discussing the use of military IDs as forms of acceptable ID, and you were discussing the copy restrictions that follow military IDs. In the video, you said, don't take it towards the end. And I was just wondering if you meant don't take a copy of it or if you meant don't take that form of ID altogether.
I don't know who said it, but I would say don't make the copy.
Don't make the copy.
Okay.
And they're not allowed to make copies of it either.
Yeah, nobody.
So I probably said don't take it because you don't want to be responsible or even misinterpret that you're the one that made the copy of it.
Okay, I think that's my my questions for this week anyway.
All right, Dana, I'll see you hopefully on office hours tomorrow for Sign and Thrive.
I expect to be there. And
right.
I got a little bit of a win too. It's not a notary business win. It's more of a personal win. I am almost fully healed. I am almost walking normally. I can finally carry my briefcase instead of having to wheel it behind me.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. This has been a long road for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. About 5 months. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Dana. All right. Valerie Preston, thanks for being here. You want to unmute? Tell us what state you're in.
Hi, this is Valerie from the state of sunny California. Well, Southern California is southern.
All right.
And my question is, I was a little, it's my venting session right here. Yesterday I was doing a notary. I was offered $75, which I took. I said, fine. But when I noticed, when I started printing the loan docs, which was 175 pages times 2, and I noticed some of the pages was duplicates. So I called to find out maybe they sent me too many pages in error since there was a lot of duplicate pages. I was told no, but this is why I was a little upset. When I did the notary, it was for a couple. It turned out to be 41 signed notaries, which would have equaled a nice over $600 if I was doing, just per document. But I'm kind of feeling like even though I accepted the 75, I was like really being taken advantage of when the notary was obviously over $600, worth over $600. What are your thoughts? Because I was, I was angry and I was like, well, it's my choice whether or not I want to deal with that company again, because I hadn't dealt with them for about a year. And then I just felt like I was just a little taken advantage of.
Yeah, I hear you for sure. And I'm sure we've got some great suggestions here from Laura and Carol too. Here's my take on it. First, if we're going to be loan signing agents, we have to let go of our general notary work or specialty notary work compensation schedule. They're two different things. So you'll drive yourself absolutely crazy if you constantly compare your specialty notary, what you can charge for general notary work and loan signings. Because as a loan signing agent, that's what you're doing. You're getting a flat fee. That's just the way that it is. But on top of that, I think you've got a really good case here of almost, it's not quite bait and switch, but it is a little on the ridiculous side. And a lot of signing companies, if you reach out and just say, hey guys, I thought this was just a traditional refinance. It turns out there were 41 notarizations. And in California, that's a big deal. I mean, that's going to be a long signing. So you might ask them if they have any flexibility in there. Is there an additional fee that I can get or an increase in compensation? Because that would be
yes, because it took me like 1 hour and 26 minutes to do.
Well, that sounds like even on the fast side, Valerie. So good job, because I mean, 41 notarizations with 2 people, that's a lot of journal entries.
Yes,
so,
yes, sir.
Laura, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so 2 things. One is, I'm glad Billy already put it out there that you can't compare a per notarization fee, which remember is not the minimum fee. That's the maximum fee. And remember, we may be doing the same work in California that somebody's doing in a state that gets $2.50 for that same job. All right. So the fact that we're lucky and we get more shouldn't decide that you should be getting that much more for the same kind of work. So for NSA, we all know it's a package deal. Whatever you get is what you get. And of course, within that package deal, if I recognize this is probably going to be a lot of notarizations, like VA loans are like that, or if I have extra signers, I know that's going to happen. Then I'm going to say up front, you know what, that's going to cost a little more because it's my time. It's my time. It's not the number of notarizations, although that does translate into extra time. I look at it as how much more time did I have to spend that I could have been working somewhere else. That's what I go after. not the $15 per that I can get when I'm just doing a single one. And yes, if it turned out to be 41 and they gave you no clue, it wasn't a veterans, it wasn't something, a reverse mortgage that might have more, it wasn't an inordinately different type of package, I would go back and say, that had 41 notarizations. And I normally take an hour, but it took an extra half an hour just to deal with that. Is there any kind of compensation for that? And then, you just have to watch out for it. It does, it's happened to me where I'm not expecting it. And it's like, well, okay, all I can do is suck it up and work as efficiently as I can so I can get on to something else that's better paid, because it's going to happen. But it's never going to equal out.
Excellent. And
Thank
so
you.
the other thing I'd like to say on that too is, a lot of times we think that signing companies are going through the documents and they know exactly what they're forwarding to you. It doesn't happen that way. They're getting orders and they're assigning them. So they don't always know. It's not always the signing company's fault. Stuff. Sometimes it's just a miscommunication along the line. So always approach these with benefit of the doubt. Always assume that there's just been an oversight or a mistake, and use that in your communication and go over the top. I say it all the time, warm up your communication. Greet them, say something nice, and then ask your question or state your case however it's going to be. I get so many emails from people who don't they don't address, they just blurt something out, and that can paint or start off on the wrong foot for sure. I also want to say this too, and it may or may not apply to this, Valerie, but I just want to talk about these kind of lower fee appointments. I have landed my biggest clients at $75 appointments. So what I urge you to do is, if you can, try not to fall into that angry mode of, I'm being lowballed or whatever it is. If you've agreed to take it, and take it with a smile on your face. Show up 100% to every single appointment you have. You never know who is sitting across the table from you. I have done refinances for branch managers at escrow companies. Guys, they do not refinance with their company they work for. They do not want people that they work with to know how much money they make or what their debt is. It's outside sometimes. So you never know who you're going to meet. And I have landed 2 $100,000 a year clients, meaning branch managers with that much volume, doing these $75 appointments. Carol, I saw that you unmuted as well. You have something on this one?
Yeah, a couple of things. I get these calls all the time from students who take these signings and then they get the documents. And you're right. A lot of these, the signing services, they get the documents really minutes sometimes before you do. They don't have a chance to take a look. And I tell them, call them nicely, give them the opportunity to compensate you a little bit more fairly. If they don't, then, it's one of those things. But more often than not, honestly, they'll call me back and say, they gave me an extra $25 or $50 or something. But we had one who got an extra $75 on a signing because of the amount of documents that there was. But I wanted to bring up something today, and I didn't want to forget it. We had a situation, and this is especially for the non-seasoned notaries out there, and we have quite a few people on. I had a situation where one of the graduates did a signing last week, and she was called because they said that there was something wrong, there was something missing, and which she wasn't told at the beginning that there was. And they wanted her to go out and sign all new documents. They corrected documents. They made a mistake, okay? But they're telling her they wanted her to go re-sign because she didn't stamp a notary or something. And they wanted her to backdate it, okay, the entire package. And she called, she just didn't know what to do. And I said, well, obviously you're not going, she's in California too. You're not going to backdate, totally illegal. So they said, okay, just go there and sign, have them sign, and don't fill in any of the acknowledgments and send it back to us.
What are they gonna do with that?
So you know what's going
Who's
on.
notarizing it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Who's notarizing those documents? I could see what was happening. I mean, I'm looking for answers. What the heck do you do then?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before. I've been in this business half my life, and I've never seen anything like that.
I think that really speaks volumes
So-
to the integrity or the lack of integrity of the title company for sure. I wouldn't do business with them.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Great points, Valerie. Thank you so much. You sparked some great conversation. Brandy Plummer, we're moving on to you. Tell us what state you're in and what's your question?
Hi, everyone. I'm in California. I have a couple quick questions. Even though I know we've gone over the journal 1,000 times, I just wanted to ask two specifics. In California, I understand that the address where notarization performed and the name and address of the signer is not required. I remember having that on here one time. Okay, just want to make sure. And I'm like super crazy. I have this guilty conscience and I have to fill out every inch of everything. So, but my question is, if we do get those two, I had another signing at $80 yesterday with 40 notarizations in California. Could be the same company. Is it possible where address where notarization performed? Can I just say see address of signer? Or
You
is it
don't have
better
to say
just-
anything. You can do
just
whatever
leave
you
it
want.
blank?
Yeah, you can leave it blank. You can write it one time. You can leave it alone. It is optional.
Okay. I just have this guilty, crazy conscience that it's like a blank space says I didn't finish something.
Yeah.
So
I
okay.
recommend doing it at least once so you know that whole assignment where it was done, but no need to do it more than once.
Okay, I'm starting to save my hands. And then I have another question on that as well. Date and time of notarization. Get to the appointment at 3:45. By the time they're actually signing my book, let's say it's 4:30, 4:37. Are you guys very specific about the time in the sense of 4:37, 4:39 they signed, or are you a little bit more general as the appointment time?
So for me in California, I'm integrating journaling as I go through the assignment. So my first one might have been at 3:30. My next one might have been at 3:45. My next one might have been at 3:50, then 3:57, then 4 o'clock, then 4:10. And I just change the times as I'm actually journaling along. Now they sign them all at the end, but the notarization process is happening throughout the signing. And so I do change the increments of time throughout the journaling that I do for all of those notarizations.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate you being specific on that. So it's actually the notarization and when I stamped versus their signature in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. And then if you don't mind, I have one more question. I did a direct seller's package, and this was an interesting one. And I just want clarification on your guys' end with this. For the instructions for proceeds, both the husband and wife were on title and they were both on ownership, I should say. They both owned it, right? It wasn't like one was not on title. So the husband used his bank account to transfer the proceeds. She was not on that bank account. So I just had him sign instruction for proceeds. And then I got a call today from the escrow office and said, hey, is there a reason why the wife didn't sign the instructions for proceeds? And I had remembered they were just using his account. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, I need them because they're both owners.
Right.
I need them both to sign. So is that standard that no matter on a seller's package or whatnot, instructions for proceeds, whoever's owning, they both have to sign regardless of if the money's being transferred into one versus the other's account? Does that matter?
Yeah, they're both agreeing that this is the account that money is going to, so they both have to sign it.
Perfect.
Right.
That's it right there. Okay. So you go a long way.
Yeah, no problem. Brandy, thanks so much. Those are great questions.
Thank
Very helpful.
you.
Thank you. All right, Nadia, thanks for being here. You want to unmute, tell us what state you're in, and ask your question.
Awesome. Hi, guys.
Hi there.
Okay. Yay to me. I did my first loan signing. I'm a perfectionist, so it took me a while. I was like, I need to study. I need to study. I said, no, I got to go in the field and get dirty and go learn. So I did. I missed only one initial, which was funny because I think it was under the Patriot Act, which was there's a signature on it and then initials all the way at the bottom. And so I couldn't believe that I missed it, but I did. But it was all good. I didn't have to go back. They said I did a good job. And it was a VA loan. Oh my goodness, there are so many pages.
Yeah.
It's like 160 pages. And there were no escrow instructions except to get their invoice signed, which I thought was really interesting. Anyway, so that job kind of took me a while because I had to figure out how to scan back. So everything was new to me. I wanted to ask what you guys do when it comes to scanning documents back. Did you buy a scanner or do you use the phone app, like the scanner app or Adobe?
Great.
What are your preferences?
Great question. So there's a lot of different options that you have for scanning. And I actually on my YouTube channel have a video that goes into detail and I have some links, but really what if you're just starting out and budget's tight, you can use one of the phone scanners. It's incredibly tedious, right? And there's usually like a 50 cap and then you're going to have to blend all these PDFs together. So it is tedious. Right. If you want, if you have a budget in that $300 to $500 range, a fast, high-speed scanner, and I'm a Brother fan. I have the ADS 2000. I love it, but Epson makes a really great one too. Scanning go from being the worst part of your job to the best part of your job when you have the right tools. But there's a lot of things in there too. So you just kind of you can grow into it. A lot of people think you have to spend this kind of money right in the beginning and it has to just be just right. You don't have to.
Right.
There's a lot of in between until you get to the big stuff.
Okay. The other thing I did, like I said, this package did not come with any loan instructions. So I assumed to use blue ink because that's what I've kind of been hearing. So I did. Everybody had their own pen. So the blue ink was all different, hues, but it was fine. On the identity statement, there was only one copy. And I have a couple of questions about that. One, there was no notarization along with it. Like, we didn't ask for it. It wasn't attached to it. And somewhere in my studies, I believe someone said that you should notarize that. Your identity statement should be notarized. Was it safe for me to attach one? Because I did. I attached a loose one to the identity statement.
Well, Nadia, the document decides what it needs. So the lender created that document. If they wanted you to know, they would include the language, or they'd tell you to include a loose certificate. I've seen it both ways.
Okay.
Or what's
not
your
automatic?
Yeah, it's not automatic. And that's
not
the challenge in our industry, right? Every lender, every title company, every state is going to have their own little nuance there. So let the documents
speak for themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't want it to get it returned or like you should have known, that type of thing. And it was a Saturday signing, so I'm like, okay, we have Sunday, then I don't return it till Monday. So I did anyway. The other thing is on the identity statement, since there was only one, I printed another one for the wife because what's interesting is there's 2 signature lines at the bottom of the identity statement. So I had the wife also sign under the bar or the main borrower's name, because it was husband and wife going as what's the real estate term? They're husband and wife purchasing or refinancing on the VA loan. And so I had the wife sign at the bottom, and I printed another identity statement with her information and then him as the spouse.
That's a good workaround, Nadia. I'm not quite sure. That might be something more for a one-on-one coaching call too.
Yeah.
We could get in and we can see the document. We might be able to help you out there.
Oh, okay. Okay. One more question. On their, I think it's on their employment side where they fill in their personal information about like assets and liabilities.
There, it was all blank. So we did have to call the closing agent and see, and ask if that if that needed to be filled, and he checked back in with us and said not really. So I guess not everything needs to be filled out when you're doing the loan package and the signings.
Not always. So what you'll find on VAs, depending on how they're doing it, sometimes they're streamlining the refinance and they're not re-verifying the assets. They're not credit again. So there's some of that might not be completed. The thing is, it's not notarized, so it's not your responsibility to make sure that it's filled in. Laura, does that sound about right to you?
That's exactly right. If it's not notarized, it's between the signer and the lender. If the signer has issue with, hey, this is all blank, I don't like signing this, okay, let's call and see what the story is. But if that's not the story, they're fine to be signing. I'm concerned about the ones I'm notarizing or certifying.
Okay. Okay. So just go along with the document. Don't assume just.
Well, it's hard to second guess because we don't know what they're thinking. We don't know what the details of their loan are. We don't know all that information. And so it may be perfectly fine. And for me to be calling on this all the time, first of all, it's going to happen all the time. I don't know that they're going to want to hear from me to see that I'm second guessing what they're doing.
Okay. 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 Gotcha. Yeah. I just want to be on the safe side and not get it, not for it to come back and just, and this is all time sensitive material. And the couple even was like, we just want to sign these and get it out the way. Cause it took about an hour and a half with all the signings and then notarization and all that.
That sounds about right. And with a little bit of experience, this will flow a little bit too. And the other part of this too is we can't be absolutely terrified to make a mistake. We are going to make mistakes. We're all going to make them.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
And this is going to be a great learning experience no matter what. Nadia, thank you so much. Many great questions here. And if there's anything we can do to help you with a one-on-one call, feel free to reach out to any of the three of us, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, Liz's iPhone. Thanks for being here. You want to unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, good morning, everybody, or afternoon, I guess. Sorry. I have a couple of questions. So I'm in California, and I did a notary the other day. I was called out to do one at it was like a UPS store, but they didn't have the right, there was nowhere to notarize on this document. It was like for a marriage agreement, but there was no place on there to notarize. So I ended up, I called the NNA and asked them, and they said that they obviously either don't need to notarize it or needed to get new paperwork. But my question was, they didn't know if they needed an acknowledgement or a jurat either. That's something that whoever gave them the paperwork, they would decide, correct? I can't decide that. I wouldn't know which one to give.
Right.
Yeah,
sometimes a document is set up for notarization and sometimes it's not. And I start asking questions of my signer about why they're with a notary. Did somebody tell them to come get it notarized? Because sometimes that's what the issue is. Or are they just doing it because they feel better about it that way? They just have their own initiative. And then, okay, so you want to do it yourself. Here's how I certify things. Here are your options. Which way would you like to go? If it's somebody told them, then what did they tell them? Sometimes they'll use language and they don't realize that that will help me as a notary know what they're looking for.
Okay.
They said I had to come swear this is true. I know I'm going to be performing an oath. I mean, well, I'm going to give them an oath, but a jurat where there's signatures involved there. If they say, we just want to make sure nobody questions we're the signers. Okay, well, that might be a different notarial act, but it's not for me to decide which one works for them in this case.
Yeah, that's what I had told them. So they ended up going back to who gave them the paperwork. My other question was, I got called to do, it looked like was home loan documents from a lender, and I gave them a fee of like $75. Then they ended up going to a credit union to do it. They said, so do credit unions offer people cheaper? Like, how much do credit unions, are they charging to do these signings?
If they have a relationship with that credit union, it might be a service they provide. But what I'll offer you right away, Liz, is you are greatly underselling yourself. You should be at $150. And if they say no, they're not your client.
I'm kind of, because I'm starting out and I'm all brand new. These are all my first signings. I'm willing to do things for less to get, like you said, that's exactly how I look at it is, I don't care if you pay me $25. I'm going to get my name out there, my foot in the door. I love doing what I do. And if I can build a relationship and they can refer me to other people. So I was kind of looking at that as doing it sort of for less to build a relationship. And they were literally like 10 minutes from me.
Let's talk about this a little bit, Liz, because I love that attitude when it's working with signing companies. Because that lower fee, that's just what they're going to pay. If you don't take it, they're going to pay somebody else and you can get some experience. But when you get called directly, if you're doing $75, $50 because you're like that, because $50 an hour is good money for us, right? But if you get your foot in the door with somebody who's only willing to pay you $50 an hour or $50 a signing, that's not the foot you want in the door. So
Okay.
you can quote your fee at 150 and they might come back and say, well, I was hoping that would be closer to 100, and you can negotiate that. Always keep the big picture in mind. And I'm saying this not necessarily just for you, but for other people listening as well. We tend to start competing on price because we think that's what escrow officers want. They don't. There's a few that are concerned about price, but most escrow officers know that these things are going to cost $125 to $225. There's a median range. That's what they're used to paying. They're passing that on to the lender or the borrower. So coming in, charging $75 just shoots us in both feet at the same time, because if we think with the bigger picture in mind, if you start getting lots of volume, and I ran into this, I'm speaking from experience because I had that contract I signed with this huge company for $75 signings, and they were running me ragged, but then I can't be in two places at the same time. So then I got to bring in a team underneath me. But if I'm only charging $75, guess what that makes me? That would make me a lowball signing company that everybody's complaining about. Because I'm going to have to pay them 50 or 60 bucks for me to make any kind of profit on that. So always keep that in mind. And there are plenty of people, even if you're brand new, you're the only one that knows your experience level. Nobody else knows. So stay firm with your price in that 150 range. Work your way down.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I see how that can work in a lot of bad ways. And my last question is, how would you say to get, I like when I worked at Cetera and became a phlebotomist, there was that first place that I needed to give me that chance that believed in me so I could get the experience. What is a good way? Because like you said, and I agreed with that too, you should be out there kind of doing a little bit of other things to get familiar with it before you just jump right in. But how would you start? Because there comes a time when you kind of have to jump in and start doing it. How do you educate? I'm watching a lot of YouTube. I'm doing a lot of that kind of stuff. But a good way to practice getting ready to work with the title companies and escrow companies and doing a lot of home loans and refinances and all that kind of paperwork.
Well, it depends on kind of where you're at in your process. But if you're dialed into some kind of training program, get access to the documents, start practicing, and do deliberate practice. where every signing that you do, every practice signing, you're learning something new. You're practicing your script for the documents or the flow. You're throwing yourself some curveballs so you're prepared for it. Or one of us, if we've got the volume right now, those signings are exactly that. That's every signing is that deliberate practice that we need. And then at some point we have to get in the arena. We have to start reaching out. But I'll tell you what the key to it all is follow up. Most people will muster the courage to reach out to one escrow officer, and then they'll sit back and say, I did it. I'm so excited. We'll celebrate that. And then crickets, they'll just forget about it. And escrow officers are too busy. You have to stay in touch with them. So set yourself up with a plan to stay in touch, tickle, ping them, deliver value, pop in, just let them know, hey, I just drove past your office. I'm on my way to a refinance. Is there anything I can do for you tonight? Anything like that. You got to get creative and think outside the box, but put yourself in the arena. Because if you're not in the arena, if you're not talking to people about your business, then opportunities are not coming to knock on your door. That is
I've been joining a lot of the, they're called business networking, a lot of the online stuff. I do a lot of those that are all of Northern California, and even one that's right here in my area in Roseville. I'm putting baskets together with my cards and treats and water bottles and pens that I made into the offices to promote myself. So yeah, I agree with you, getting creative and staying on top of it. And I'm over the point of, I don't just want to be scared anymore, but I don't want to get in over my head. So I'm trying to do a little bit of the balancing act of a little bit of both.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the game we're playing. So I love that you're even thinking about it. Thank you, Liz. I really appreciate that.
Would you promote anything other than the page separator? Is that really the app to get if you don't have dual trays, or is there anything else?
I don't know of any other option. Page separator, what I would recommend is actually buying page separator. Don't use the Notary Rotary option because that's been going down a lot. Pay the $6.99, and or if you're a Notary to Pro graduate, I think they get a discount. But get that so you have the software on your own.
Okay, thank you.
Bet. All right, guys, we're coming up right on 1 o'clock. Should we do one more question? We have Samantha. Samantha, we're going to make you our very last question. Sorry, Laura. We're going to do one last question that has to be short.
All right. So pretty simple. Like my town, every escrow office, there too, has in-house notaries. So do you think that there is a different way that you go about marketing in a smaller town compared to a major city?
Oh, great question. So here's the thing. First, the blanket statement is every single escrow officer is a notary. Plus their assistants are notaries, and probably their receptionist is. So every city is going to be faced with that. But then there's also the reality, working in a small town is different. And it's probably, I would say, more relationship based than anything else, because they're down home people. They like to work with who they've worked with forever. So it can be a little harder to get into. It also requires some education, because sometimes they're like, nope, this is the way we've always done it. We sign our own clients. But if you break down the numbers for them and you show them that whatever the time that they're spending with their client, they could be better suited getting more business, building relationships with real estate agents and loan officers. One way that works really well is bringing them business, introducing them to loan officers and real estate agents in your circle, bringing them business. That'll be the fastest way to kick your foot in the door. And the other huge factor on this is remember why they insist on doing their own loan signings, because they like that personal connection and they need somebody that they can trust to fill that role. If you can show them that you are that person, they'll crack the door for you. They'll give you a shot. And maybe it will start with just a mobile signing because Joe the farmer can't get off the tractor until 7 p.m. So you got to go out to his house. But that is the start to a relationship that could get you into their office, or where they start offering, especially in the time of COVID. You know, if you don't want to come into the office, we have a notary that we can send you. And then I saw your email too, Samantha, so we can talk more in detail on this too. Laura, any suggestions on small town marketing?
No, because, you know, Modesto is a big little town. I don't have anything to add, Phil.
Okay. Awesome. Looking forward to that. Guys, I want to make sure we get out of here on time. It is 1 o'clock. Samantha, sorry to cut you off a little bit early, but I am down for a one-on-one coaching call so we can dive a little deeper on that. Just shoot me a text message. All right, so let's give away some prizes real quick. We've got the Laura Buer Presents. We got Notary to Pro. Let's give away a lifetime to Sign and Thrive too. Let's just make it fun. How about that? So here we go. The link to sign up is right here. Bear with me a minute. I cannot see the screen anymore. Okay, guys? So Laura, I'm going to count on you if there's something I need to see. Let me just take a look at how many people we have.
Are you getting a number?
Yep, I'm getting the number. Okay. 221 people are registered. This is for Laura Buer Presents. This is the most specific and detailed notary training that you can get for all of those things that are outside of loan signings. Laura has put this together. There's living trust, last wills and testaments, powers of attorney, jailhouse signings, hospital work, and so much more. So number 99 is our winner. Bear with me. I got to go through a few screens here. Laura, would you mind keeping track of this? I do not have a pen or paper, so.
Okay.
I'm outside of my house today. Okay, Tyler Higgins. Tyler Higgins, you are the winner of Laura Buer Presents. That is, yeah, Tyler Higgins.
Got it.
All right, and the next winner is for Carol Ray's Notary to Pro. What number is that? Number 27. So bear with me 1 second. Go backwards a little bit. Wanda Mora. Wanda Mora just won the Notary to Pro course. Congratulations. And now
Wanda, give us a call. I'm going to give my phone number so she can call and get set up.
Wonderful.
916-777-5931. Wanda, call and we'll get your information and get you in there. And I'll look forward to working.
I only got 2, Saz and Sika already, so it's 3.
Okay, ready for 3? Bill, you're muted. Bill, you're muted.
Got it. All right, thank you so much. All right, sorry guys. Okay, so the the next third prize is for Sign and Thrive, lifetime membership to Sign and Thrive. That's number 167. Bear with me a little bit to get there. I need some music.
Da, 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 da.
There we go. Okay.
I was going to do the same.
Nobody wants to hear my voice.
Okay, Gloria Holt. Gloria Holt, you are the winner of the lifetime access to Sign and Thrive. So what's cool about
H-O-L-T?
H-O-L-T. Gloria Holt. What's cool about that is if you're already a member, you get it for free now. And if you're not a member, you get to join us for somewhere. You can't get rid of us.
Yeah, I needed to win that.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for growing yourself and your business on the Tuesday. We will see you next week. Have a great end of month. Laura, thank you so much. Carol, so much for being.
Password, if that didn't work, can you do forgot password or?
Okay, see you guys later. Bye-bye.